Got a few Tundra related topics to talk about today. The first one is these higher mileage failures, not high mileage in the traditional sense like 200,000, but high mileage for newer vehicles. Let's take a look. This first failure comes in from Joshua. He says, "So I thought I was free and clear of the engine going boom. I had 88,000 miles, 2022 SR5 4x4. Just got a call that it needs a new engine and check engine light came on yesterday morning. They said cylinder 6 spun a bearing, which is odd because typically this is a main bearing failure. They said it was unusual for it to be cylinder 6. I'm not sure if they're talking about a rod bearing. This would be interesting. And interestingly enough, he did say that his loaner that they gave him, he noticed it has no lag. You might remember some of these other videos I've done where they talk about the lag when you hit the gas, and the oil pressure gauge is a lot higher at idle than his old truck was. And the most recent one that he's driving is a 2025, so brand new. The first person that responded to him said he noticed his truck was slower 2 to 3 weeks before his engine died. He thought it was just in his head, but it actually died. Might remember this guy over the summer. After 103,000 miles, loss of power, engine failure, he had the main bearing issue as well. And unfortunately, we still see 24s coming in with the failure. Nikki says, "If you don't mind me asking, what steps did you take to get there? My 24 blew up at 35,000 miles. Still no answers from Toyota." She was responding to a different post. Then we have Wesley Newton coming in with his 24 limited with the TRD package, 28,000 miles. So getting up towards the top end of, we used to see like 28,000 miles and lower on the failures. Now we're starting to see kind of middle and higher range mileage failures. He said engine turned off on the highway, started right back up, rode fine at highway speeds, but was shaking rough idle. The technician said he sees the same effect as the recall, which means the engine bearing is coming loose. They're talking about the main bearing failure that happened in the majority of these. Now, since this is a 24, the last one was a 24, they are not covered under this recall. So they have to get it approved. He said Toyota sent out an engineer, signed off on final approval, which is good. I think Toyota is still going to take care of these things, but the problem with that is you typically get short block rebuilds, not the crate engine sent from Toyota. So not a good situation to be in if you're not under the recall. And Wesley, if you're watching this, he asks for advice or anything he should fight for. I would personally fight for a crate engine in this scenario. Say, look, if you can't give me a crate engine, I'm going to go for lemon law or something, because you do not want a short block rebuild. There's just been too many problems with those oil issues. They're not replacing all the parts in the short block rebuild. I would fight tooth and nail for a crate engine. And in Wesley's case, the production date was October 3rd, 2023. So that still is falling within that range before the main bearing part update. So it looks like these are all, even the 24s that are still failing, are pre I think May of 2024. So we've seen one 2025 fail, but the 24s, we've seen a lot fewer 24s than, say, the 2022s and 2023s. The 24 hybrid that this guy had is finally getting lemon lawed. He had a complete engine failure at 10,000 miles. Same thing, main bearing spun on this one as well. And the same thing goes for this 24 that failed. It was November of 2023. So still late 2023 builds, not mid to later 2024 builds. And people always ask me, how do people afford these trucks? Well, I'm going to show you that here in just a second. But, this is a good example of 2025. The TSRP is $72,000. And then you get $6,000 off in customer cash. And woohoo, we're down to $60,000. Yeah, what a deal. Here's how people are affording this. I'm not going to show this person's name because I kind of have secondhand embarrassment for them. But they say, "Who's got me beat?" Like as if it's some sort of a challenge. A 2022 Tundra hybrid, he's got it for $1,721 per month. That's his payment at 3.49% interest. He owes $56,000. That's how people are affording these. They're not. It's not affording. They're just blowing a ton of money every month. Here's another guy, $1,237 a month, $55,000 remaining balance, 1.99% APR. So at least he's got a low interest rate, and maybe he's, super high income earner and he's okay with 1.99% and he's investing his money elsewhere, but what a gut punch. Here's another one at 3.99%, $52,000 remaining balance, $1,103 a month. Another one, $1,266 a month, $62,000 payoff at 2.9%. And this is actually the cheapest one I could find in that thread, $721 a month payment, but he only owes $7,800. This guy knows how to manage his finances. I'd like to meet this guy. And this guy actually brings up another thing I want to talk about, which is when should you get your crate engine done? A lot of people are waiting to get get this engine done to the last minute. But in this case, he's 250 miles from home when all of his warning lights and everything flashed on the dash. The truck went into limp mode and shut down. His wife was driving, so they ended up calling a tow truck, and then they ended up trying to restart the truck, and everything seemed okay. They were able to get it to the dealer. His truck is on the recall list. So in a scenario like this, unless you want to be stuck in traffic going 50, 60, 70, 80 miles an hour and potentially have your engine fail, I would just get it done. If they're giving you a new crate engine, you would probably want that peace of mind that you have a lot better chance of not being stranded 200, 300, 500 miles from home, and you have a lot better chance of being safe with your family and you in the car. So Toyota's got all the crate engines lined up. They're ready to ship, and it only takes usually a couple days in and out to get this done. And the reason I bring this up is because of people like this all the time in these Facebook groups, and you respond and you try to help them, but they don't really want to listen. They always say, does this look like a good deal? No, don't. I would not buy a used Tundra. Don't buy a 22, a 23, early 24s. Just don't buy them. Why would you buy one? You're buying trouble. Here's another guy on January 9th thinking of trading my 2022 TRD Sport on this. Is it a good deal? Chances are it's probably going to have the same problems. I mean, maybe the 25s, maybe the late 24s and 25s will be better. I don't know why people want pain. And then you get folks like Joel here. He's asking if it's a good deal to buy a 2022 Limited. I suppose you're going to roll the dice. You're going to get a new crate engine and see how it goes. It's up to you. 12,000 miles. You're going to have another couple of years of warranty left. If you go this route, get an extended warranty. Absolutely no question. Call Jerry, go to these Facebook groups and get an extended warranty. And I'm going to shift gears a little bit and get slightly positive on some of the Tundras. It's not all of them that are failing. Everybody knows that it's not all of them that are failing. So let's get into Daniel bragging about this truck. He says, I love this truck. No issues, 30,000 miles. He's probably sporting 37s on that thing with an offset. He says it's not about the miles per gallon. It's about the smiles per gallon. Yeah. And here's a good example. Now, I don't think any of these are going to hit 1 million miles without a lot of work, but this is pretty impressive. A 2022, $28,000. It's got 210,000 miles on it. That's pretty good. That's pretty impressive. Here's another guy. He had his engine replaced, but he actually didn't need it to be replaced. He said he had 74,000 miles with no major issues, except for the acceleration lag that we've talked about in the past. He made it to 74,000 miles without problems. I mean, it's not high mileage, but it's something. And when you search nationwide, I do see some, you got the 2022 with 111,000 miles. They still want 38,000. There's one with 104,000 miles, 101,000 miles, 99,000 miles, 95. So they're starting to get up there. They're not all dying on the side of the road, obviously, because they sold over 100,000 a year. But figured I would throw that out there and be a little bit more fair and balanced, because I know it's annoying if you do own one of these vehicles and your resale value is dropping. Obviously, it's not all of them. General Motors is having problems as well. What are you going to pick? You're probably going to pick the one that you just like the most at this point. Thanks for watching. Till next time.